Hello everybody, my name is Patrick Hart and I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Open Range. A couple shout outs really quick. Thank you for Gary Emneth for giving me the opportunity to host this week's program. Thank you for our sponsors for paying for the lights in the studios. And if we have never met, my name is Patrick Hart. I'm a former two-term statewide candidate, former party chair, overall good guy. I'm a contractor here in Bismarck, and I'd say I have dirt under my nails, but today I have paint under my nails. And I just say that because I think the Democratic Party, which I'm very much a supporter of, has a really diverse background of people that typically maybe get dirty for a living, drive trucks, teach in schools. And I really think that our party represents that working class. And today I want to start by mentioning two different men in history. Now, the first one you may not have heard of. His name was Plutarch, and he was a Greek philosopher, and our own, of course, former president, Teddy Roosevelt. Now, Plutarch had been quoted saying, "An imbalance between rich and poor is the oldest and most fatal elements of all republics." And I found this quote this last week because perhaps the question of the time is the vastly increasing disparity from rich to poor. And my question is, when does that scale tip? We've been hearing for years about the gays and the trans, the Middle Easterners, the immigrants, women being in the workforce. But I would contend that the ultra rich, and I'm not talking 100K a year or $1 million in net worth, I'm talking about the let's buy another island crowd. I would take them as the culprits that blight our society. And I would just simply ask, how much is enough? I would also, in the wake of the opening of Teddy Roosevelt Presidential Library, love to remind everyone that a key success to Roosevelt's career was trust busting. And again, I find this timely as we are looking at mega corporations coming into North Dakota with deep, deep pockets. And I'm not against development, I'm not. But my question again is at what cost and to whose benefit? Teddy Roosevelt wanted to distinguish good trust that promoted efficiency and bad trusts that exploited consumers. So North Dakota, let's be very wary about who we are inviting to be our neighbors. A lot of times with big dollars comes a negative environmental footprint. Sometimes it comes with a duck and run when a market dries up. And who is left holding the bag? Who cleans up the mess? And when should government step in? We've all heard that old adage, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. This week, I would like to welcome Vern Thompson, who's running for North Dakota Agriculture Commission, and Tracy Foss, running for Superintendent of Public Instruction. And I would welcome either of you to be my neighbor. Vern, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah. So what's going on in your campaign? What's the big thing this year?
Well, the biggest thing that I wasn't planning on it being a big thing is the IA data centers, the industrial development that's taking place. Teddy Roosevelt, with his trust busting, I think he could be a nonpartisan leader, and I guess that's what I am. I believe in industrial development, I believe in progress, but we can't take our resources, our water, our soil, our people, our oil, energy, all those things, we can't just give it away. I see too much corporate welfare, and Teddy Roosevelt would kind of shake his head, I believe, to what's going on today. We've got multi-billionaire out-of-state corporations that are coming in, and they're hardballing people, they're short-circuiting. If they did things the right way, right up front, be fine, but they're changing laws, they want to take away power from local control, and that's why if there was a vote today of the people of North Dakota, 80% of them would say, we don't want data centers because the way that the corporates, the wealthy, are treating people in North Dakota. And again, if they did it the right way, fine, but I don't think they are.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, you mentioned nonpartisan league. Now, I've interacted with a lot of my state chair colleagues, as I'm sure you have, and a lot of people ask, what is that NPL? Nonpartisan league, can you just give us a quick intro to that?
Well, in the 1800s, late 1800s and early turn of the century, 1900, farmers banded together because they were tired of the grain exchanges out of state that were basically, they felt like they were robbing them from their profits. Same with the railroads, same with the banks. The banks were all, the money from North Dakota came from out of state. And so they said enough is enough. And they stood up and they banded together, and we created the only state bank of North Dakota, the only state-owned bank in the United States. And they also created the North Dakota State Mill and Elevator, which is the only one, it's actually the largest mill in North and South America. It's huge. And those things help get more value added to North Dakota people. And we need more value added things and that create money to be able to stay here for farmers, for ranchers, and actually for consumers, for the ones that are paying going to the store to get the food.
No, absolutely. And, you know, I bring that up because this week I got a Politico update that was a video interview. And I didn't know Politico did video interviews. I read a lot of their news, but someone came out from their organization and interviewed Kramer and Armstrong and Burgum about the Teddy Roosevelt Library. And in that interview for about 20 minutes, they talked about the state bank and the state mill, and they sang its praises. But you know, one thing that wasn't mentioned is that the nonpartisan and the Democratic, parties helped really push that together.
Yep.
And it was interesting to me to see 3 Republicans talking about one of the biggest achievements of the Dem-MPL party, without, of course, mentioning that it was already.
Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, we have a rich tradition, a rich history. And you know, one of the reasons I'm running is because I want to stand with North Dakota people against the corporate politics and against the out-of-state multi-billionaire crowd, the corporations coming in and just taking advantage of us. And that's not the North Dakota way. And we can do better, and that's why I'm running for this office, and that's why I think we need to add more value to all the resources that we have here in the state of North Dakota, because we're blessed, you know, but we can lose them. And why are we, this corporate welfare has got to come to an end. And I don't think that's a partisan issue. I think that all North Dakotans would say, hey, enough is enough, because it's your money. It's your money that's being spent by these sweetheart deals.
Vern, I love it. I think me and you could talk all night about it. We are, though, Tracy, we're going to pivot to you for just a couple seconds. This is Tracy Foss, running for Superintendent of Public Instruction.
Thank you for having me.
And can I just say, to replace Kristen Baszler, who went to national, right?
Correct. Yep.
So tell me about you. Why are you running this cycle?
I'm running because I have over 30 years of experience in education, and through those years I've noticed some issues that haven't been addressed, or they've tried to be addressed, but they're addressing the symptom instead of the cause. And I think one of the reasons is what you're talking about as well, is that transparency of and not bringing everybody to the table. So I don't think we're hearing all the voices that would help us to come to those better solutions than just listening to, and a lot of those are outside sources too, companies and that are creating the books, that are doing the curriculum, and all of these other programs that are designed to help schools. And I'm not saying that in itself are bad, but we're not necessarily listening to the individuals in the classrooms and on the staff, and because I think that input would get us to solutions a lot faster and much better and sustainable. I think we're looking at some things a little bit wrong. And then I'm a tech and engineering ed teacher that teaches students how to do critical thinking and problem solving. So it's one of my strengths. So I think I can help with that process.
You know, I'm going to read something for your bio. My experiences have given me a wide range of perspectives that will help me identify all stakeholders and ask the right questions to solve problems within the North Dakota educational system. And I highlighted that specifically because that's my style too. I don't have the answers.
Yep.
But I can definitely put that room of people together to figure out how we're going to tackle this problem.
Yep.
And maybe we need more people at the table.
Yeah, I think we need more people at the table.
So a lot of times we can be critical, we can be nitpicky, we can ask for more accountability. What are some things maybe the other direction that are going good and that we need to continue with moving forward?
We The things to continue with are trusting the teachers and trusting the staff to do their jobs. But it takes a little bit more of that oversight to make sure that we're making it equal. So the intent is there at the legislative level to have that high quality education system in each of those districts. So we need to applaud the intent that it's there. We want high achievement, but I don't know if what we're looking at will tell us whether it's high achievement or not. So getting into those classrooms or getting into those districts and getting those people to the table, again, I'm going to be a broken record here, I'm sorry, would help us to understand the parts that are working and the parts that are not working. So a lot of it is the good intention. We're going to have individuals, we want to make sure that we're teaching students about computer programming and those kind of things so they understand that. We want to make sure that we have, I think there's a new initiative on AI. We're now making students putting their phones into a lockbox before, for the day. So we have intent and we're starting. But it's fiscally irresponsible to spend too much money and waste it, but it's also fiscally irresponsible not to give enough money to make sure that those initiatives succeed. So I think we need to rethink what it means to fully fund a school district and what their needs are. And just a chunk of money that they increase by 1% every year is not really cutting it, because their Grand Forks had to cut music and art and some PE, which I've not heard of before, the PE, but we want to make sure that we keep those things going.
We'll continue after this commercial break with Vern Thompson and Tracy Foss.
Welcome to where classy meets Wild West. Buffalo Gypsy Boutique of Bismarck has clothing, decor, and gifts ranging from sophisticated boho style to fun and flashy. Our exclusive brands such as Scully, Double D Ranch, and Tanner Mark provide standout style for the whole family, right down to the little ones. We always have a great selection of Kimes denim, and we proudly offer American-made jewelry and artwork. Find Buffalo Gypsy classing up North Bismarck just off Highway 83.
We're not some big city operation with a call center that doesn't even know where North Dakota is. We're Beck, built and rooted in rural North Dakota. We're your neighbors, your cooperative, working together for more than 70 years to keep you connected to what matters most in your life. Our Beck Fiber is more than just internet service. It's what you rely on every day. And if you ever have a question, we're just down the road, ready to help. Beck Communications, committed to you because we're local too.
Ashley, North Dakota is where life moves a little slower, but never gets dull. From hunting, camping, and fishing to safe streets where kids can be kids, this is the best of small town living. And Ashley offers everything you need, from healthcare to hardware to countless ways to stay active. Here, we've invested in our future with major upgrades to roads, parks, and education. Whether you're here for the day or here for life, you'll find Ashley's where you ought to be.
There's never been a better time to rediscover the style, reliability, and all-season, all-terrain fun of the all-new Nissan lineup at the new and improved Ryan Nissan. Whether it's the sleek and stylish Murano, the adventure-ready Pathfinder, or the reimagined, ready-for-anything 2026 Rogue, the all-new Ryan Nissan has the vehicle of your dreams at a price perfect for any budget. It's time to rediscover your passion for the road. It's time to rediscover the all-new Ryan Nissan, engineered to endure.
I'm $27,000 in credit card debt.
Okay.
You have to radically do something different, because if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting.
Now's not the time to be doing math. The time to be doing math was when we didn't go into $200,000 of debt.
If you are freaked out and you're stuck in these debt payments and you think it has to be a part of your life, it doesn't.
Hello, friends. This is Culture Crossroads. Join me, Andrew Southwick, and my co-hosts, R.C. Williams and Juliana Ormond, as we tackle the issues shaping America. From politics to pop culture, to faith, freedom, family, and the future. From a faith-based conservative perspective that you won't get anywhere else. We stand at the intersection of faith and freedom. This is Culture Crossroads. Culture Crossroads, Sundays at 5 p.m. Central on Beck TV.
Hey guys, thanks for sticking through that commercial break. My name is Patrick Hart, and today I'm joined with two friends, Vern Thompson, who's running for Ag Commissioner, and Tracy Foss, running for Superintendent of Public Instruction. Vern, can you tell me a little bit about what your campaign has looked like this cycle?
We've been holding town hall meetings all across North Dakota. We've been going to where the people are at, and we're listening, we're learning, and we're talking, and we're coming up with workable solutions to the worst farm crisis in the last 40 years.
Do you think when you get into office this fall, you're going to have to fight farm bankruptcies similar to the way that Sarah Vogel did in the 80s?
Yes. Yeah. What I'm disappointed with, and credit counseling and mediation will be very important. When you look at the North Dakota Department of Agriculture's website, they have one credit counselor. When you look at their website, they have one mediator. And it just so happens that that mediator and that credit counselor are the same person. So when you bring up Sarah Vogel, she saw the farm crisis in the 1980s when I was a young farmer, and I struggled through just like everybody else did. But she took a bunch of people, 60 to 80 people, and trained them before the spring so that they could sit down with farmers and go through their books, and then they could go to the bank with a mediator and maybe negotiate some better terms. You know, and that's how, you know, some people didn't survive, but that's how people were able. There's people that use that credit counselor program that are farming today.
Sure.
We have nothing like that going on now.
Well, and that brings me back to my intro statement about ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of cure. It sounds like Sarah Vogel proactively put that together, anticipating this was going to happen. And I'm sure you're aware of, I just saw Doug Goring in the last 2 months talk about the biggest threat was some convoluted EPA law that's 20 years old.
No, it's funny how none of the incumbents will take any credit for not having a farm bill, for losing farmers. We're losing 430 some farmers every year since Doug Goring's gone into office. What we've been doing, we're not just sitting back and complaining, we are doing research on what we can do. We are planning for November and December for when the people have to start paying the bank. What are we going to do? We have, as an example, we have $500 million that the Industrial Commission loaned from the State Bank of North Dakota, which is your money. They loaned that to farmers. At first I thought this was a good deal. Way to go. But guess what? I've been talking to some of those farmers. They used that money to catch up on last fall. And they still got hit with the high fertilizer and fuel and the tariffs, the cost of, you know, buying parts and so on and so forth. And they're not going to have the money this fall. So who's watching the taxpayers' money? What are you going to do? We have to, the Industrial Commission has to have a plan. And I went to the last Industrial Commission meeting, nothing.
Yeah.
You know, we don't need to react to every problem. We need to have vision to figure out what we need to do in the worst case scenario, and then we'll pray for the best scenario.
Vern, tell us how we can participate in your race. Where can we see you next? What's upcoming?
We're going to have, we're finalizing it tomorrow or Friday. We will be running statewide with town hall meetings. I don't even know how many I've had so far. I know I've traveled over 13,000 miles to date.
Oh, wow.
But we're going to have agricultural town hall meetings all across North Dakota. And then following that, because we've got so many farmers that are concerned about their property rights with this industrial development that's taking place. We're going to have the AI Data Center and Industrial Commission town hall meetings to follow up with that. So we're going to be very busy during this summer, and then it's probably going to get busier as we go along.
Well, awesome. And you can see on the screen, Thompson4nd.com will get you clued into Vern's campaign. Now, something we maybe skipped over, because I think we have a lot of same elements in our philosophy of government and corporations. Just tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Vern Thompson?
Well, I'm a farm kid from Minnewaca, North Dakota. I was the third generation farmer on the land, you know, that my grandpa homesteaded on, so to speak. And I lived through those 80s farm crisis. I survived. Now my son, or excuse me, my nephew bought our land, so we're out of the farming now, but it's still near and dear to my heart. And he's struggling like anybody else. His wife has got a nursing job, and he does some other things besides farming to supplement. But these last 15 years, I've been in the oil patch, which is a natural fit for the Industrial Commission that oversees the oil and gas development. So we have a trucking business, my wife and I transport that natural gas liquids that you used to see flared off all the time and made it look like from the satellite images that it was a birthday cake. You know, you could spot that oil patch anywhere. And so we're capturing that now, and we're hauling the majority of it up to Canada to help with their sour crude and stuff. And I've enjoyed the last 15 years out there.
No, I want to touch on that. Now, first of all, the biggest flare I saw when I was out in the oil field was south of Stanley to the scenic 23 corner at about halfway on the east side of the road. That flare was so hot I could feel it in my truck.
Yeah.
That isn't a thing anymore.
Not, you know, unless there's a problem, it has to, the compressors have to release that gas, you know, but the EPA is supposed to be monitoring all that stuff, but it's not like it was. It's way better.
Well, and where I'm kind of alluding to is that regulation caused corporation to capture a natural resource, and now we can profit from it.
That's right.
Is that such a bad thing, that little ounce of regulation?
Yeah. No, but some of the corporations would rather pay the fine because it's cheaper for them to let the flare go off into the sky, waste it for farmers, ranchers, or communities across North Dakota instead of fixing it and capturing it. There's not everybody does that, but I won't say the name, but there's one company in North Dakota that is not a good partner in that respect. Others are capturing. We can't even blow down outside when we're hooking up and unhooking hoses and stuff. And they capture everything. I mean, that's what a farmer usually would do, is capture everything that was available.
Vern, I'm going to give you a direct question. What's your vision for the state of North Dakota? What are you trying to accomplish?
Well, my vision for North Dakota is to look at what we want as a state for the next 10, 15, 20 years. My vision is to make sure that we have enough value-added plants and so on and so forth, like a meat packing plant, all the things. We have the resources here, and my vision is to keep the money here in North Dakota and help the people that are here that are struggling in North Dakota. I don't want to see out of state, I don't want to see the Bill Gates and the Scott Bessents come into North Dakota and buy up all this land, you know, when they got billions of dollars, and they don't know anything. They've never had dirt under their fingernails like you and I. They don't know the difference between a wheat kernel and a soybean kernel, you know. And so I'm very passionate about keeping our anti-corporate farm laws in place. And the current people that are in charge, they are relaxing it, and they're inviting the corporates to come in. And I think that's wrong for the future. I want to see generations. I want to see your kids or your grandkids or the people that, you know, are near and dear to me. I want to see them have a chance to farm.
Yeah.
Have a way of life. Protect the heritage and legacy that we've built here in North Dakota.
Kind of a goofy question here. Stick with me. Can you chew a kernel of corn and tell me what protein it is?
I used to be able to on wheat.
Wheat,
no,
excuse me,
wheat,
I misspoke there.
We had a custom combining business for 42 years. My grandpa did, and I was involved with it for 20 years. And I could tell you the moisture of the grain. You know, you get around it long enough. But today I couldn't. I'll confess that I couldn't today.
Well, I'll tell you, me and you and Katrina Christensen definitely are that in tune. What's something maybe you feel is a missed opportunity for our government right now? Seems like you're pretty in tune to the Industrial Commission.
Yeah. The first thing with the IA data centers, lack of regulation. Because we have lack of regulation, they should have put together a 1-year moratorium like other places have done, so we can study through facts and figures, not take the word of the company that's coming in that's going to rake billions of dollars. So that's one of the things that I think that they've missed. And they've been asleep at the wheel as far as the farm crisis, as far as the tariff impact of North Dakota people, whether it was farmers, businesses, tourism. You know, I go to Canada. Tourism is still down about 30 to 35% in North Dakota. We want those people to come and see Teddy Roosevelt. You know, and they're mad at us. They're not coming. So there's a lot of things, there's more than things to work on than what we have time for. But we're going to work every day at protecting the people of North Dakota.
So we got about a minute left. Why politics? Why now? What made you throw your hat in the race this cycle?
Well, I thought I was done. I served my time. I didn't want to make a career out of it. We were comfortable with our life. The truck business was good, but when I saw people hurting, and when I know people that this year is a make or break year for them financially, my moral values and upbringing said that I need to do more. You know, I need to get out of the stands where you can holler and get into the game. And I'm into the game, and I'm doing it 110% like I do everything else in life.
Well, I appreciate that, Vern. Democrats here, Vern Thompson and, excuse me, Tracy Foss. Are you identifying as a Democrat?
Yes.
Okay. And we're talking about local control and transparency. We'll be back after this commercial break.
Hey y'all, it's Trent on the loose. I want to tell you, Lady Blue and I, we got a lot of miles together, but you know what? You and I got a lot of miles together as well. And all I want to do is bring to you the information on how we maintain a domestic supply of food and fuel for future generations. So I'm going to continue to travel the world and unearth the stories that make it possible that we can live in a free United States of America.
We are Ladies of Another View. Join us every weekday morning at 9:00 a.m. as we discuss the big topics from North Dakota, the nation, and around the world.
We chat with everyone from celebrities and medical professionals to politicians, local business owners, and neighbors about the topics and stories that affect all of us.
We are unscripted and uncensored real news from real people. So join us every weekday morning for Ladies of Another View on Beck.
We are rewriting Hollywood's script for our kids. I'm pop culture expert Tina Griffin, and as a former Hollywood actress, I'm giving you a behind-the-scenes look at how today's entertainment is eroding the foundational development of America's youth and how to safely navigate this pop culture chaos. Knowledge is power. Parents want solutions. It's time to get the power back in your hands and reclaim the right to decide who and what should influence your kids.
Weekdays at 11 a.m. Central Time on Rec TV.
We're not some big city operation with a call center that doesn't even know where North Dakota is. We're Beck, built and rooted in rural North Dakota. We're your neighbors, your cooperative, working together for more than 70 years to keep you connected to what matters most in your life. Our Beck Fiber is more than just internet service. It's what you rely on every day. And if you ever have a question, we're just down the road, ready to help. Beck Communications, committed to you because we're local too.
Come on in and experience small-town hospitality and the personalized care that makes car buying a pleasure.
We know that every journey starts with the right car. Whether it's school drop-off, weekend road trips, or your daily commute, we have the right vehicle for you and your family.
With trusted brands, affordable prices, and the team that treats you like family, finding your next car has never been so easy.
We pride ourselves on personal attention and quality service. Bassett Motors, where our customers send their friends.
From vets and breweries to butchers and luthiers, Made Local highlights it all. Join Lori Hins every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. as she finds the hidden gems all around the upper Midwest and talks to the business owners and entrepreneurs about the products they create, the stories behind their businesses, and why they love doing what they do.
We want to follow up and see how you're doing in the future because I think this one's
gonna grow.
It's gonna grow.
Watch Made Local every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Central.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. We have, of course, Vern Thompson, who just educated us on his ideas on the agriculture department. And this section, we're going to maybe focus a little bit more on Tracy Foss, who's running for the Department of Public Instruction, which is a nonpartisan position. Sorry, I kind of got my words gummed up at me at the last section. And, tell me about you. Tell me about your background.
I have over 30 years of experience in the education world. I've got 22 of those are in teaching. I've taught at the college level, high school level, junior high level, middle school level. I've been an elementary para, so I've taught at almost every level. I've also been a school district business manager. I have been a grant writer for a 15-school consortium, and I worked for the state in the CTE department for a couple of years I was a supervisor for technology and engineering education and information technology. So I've had lots of experience in the education world.
Wow, that's a mouthful. Maybe I would be better off to ask you what you haven't done in the education world. So what makes you, I would maybe position to what makes you qualified for this position, but obviously you've done everything.
I think the qualifications come from I'm a really good listener. So every job that I've had, it's a variety of them, but I think I was on this path to gain insight from each one of those. So I've gained something from each one of them, no matter if I was there for 10 years or if I was there just for a couple of years, but they have all given me the information and experience and the perspectives that I need to know those questions we were talking about earlier. Again, not all the answers, but definitely know what questions to ask and who I think should be at the table.
Did you have a favorite position that you worked in or a class to teach over the years?
Technology and engineering education is my background for the high school level. I did computer programming at the college level. That's what I mainly taught there. But yeah, problem solving and critical thinking and just getting the kids to fail. They do not, it's going to sound weird, but they do not fail enough in school. We need to, or they're not allowed to fail and it be okay as enough as they should. And the engineering design process shows them that the first time's never going to be perfect. You're going to go and you're going to try it again, improve it, try something different, and the next time it'll probably be a success. But we do need to teach them how to fail, okay, that it's okay, and then keep going until it's not okay to quit, but it's okay to fail and then keep trying.
No, I think that's spot on because I learn a lot when I fail because that doesn't work. And then how do I get it to work and how can I implement change? And I totally agree that kids need to do that because I feel like to some extent we coddle them, make it really easy.
Or we make them feel bad for not getting it the first time.
Right. You know, at our company, at our construction company, we started taking pictures of our fails to like just kind of put them as achievements, you know, because we learned and then you have to succeed. So what's your kind of vision? What do you want to change with DPI? What are you bringing to the table on that note?
I think the biggest change, again, broken record, listening to all the stakeholders. I think we're not getting the right input sometimes on the decision that we're making, but we do need oversight. That's the reason for the state level is to make sure that we have that equality across the state. The reason for the federal level is supposed to be equality across the states the districts at the state level, and then all the quality at the states at the federal level. And so we do need that oversight. But oversight would just, you need to do this, you need to do this, and you need to do that. And if there's any hoops, we just need to get rid of those hoops. There's no reason to do hoops if it's just to gain some data that looks good on paper. So I would say that I would add a whole lot more support. Not that DPI hasn't been supportive. And then focus on asking the legislature that if you ask us to do something, you need to support that to make sure that it succeeds, because there's some good ideas coming out of there. But if we just go, okay, now you all have to do that, then it's like, well, how do we do that? Where do we find the time? That costs money. Where do we find that money in budgets that are already tight? So I think a little more support.
Well, you kind of led into the question I was going to ask, which is we've heard a lot about teacher pay dropping, I think, from 26th to 41st in the nation. Yep. I wanted to correlate where test scores are, but I kind of almost don't want to go there, because I don't know if teaching to the test is the right method of execution in our schools. What are your thoughts on kind of how all those come together?
And there's so many variables in education that it's really hard to, you can't pinpoint one. But teaching the test in a technology and engineering education classroom, I don't see the creativity that we had before. I don't see the problem solving that we maybe had before. I've taught my generation. So I started teaching before I even graduated from college. I was teaching the same kids that I was just in class with. So I've taught my generation, I've taught my kids' generation, and now I've taught that next generation. And there's a difference. We can see the difference in that going away. And that also might be the things they have in their hands all the time, the technology and so forth. Their thought process is a little bit different than it has been before.
So to kind of bridge all the conversation between the three of us today, I've never chat GPT'd. I don't know how AI works. Maybe I should brush up on it, but my kids do.
Yep.
And that kind of scares me, because I want them to critically think. I want them to read something, to analyze it, and to implement it. And it's just really easy to ask your phone. I think you ask your phone. I don't know if you type it or say it, but
by voice.
By voice. I'm kind of worried about that and how that's going to affect them in 5 or 10 years when they're in the job market and they have to critically think of a solution and implement it on site.
Yep.
Do you think there's anything we can do to kind of try to change trajectory?
I think there are some studies from other states that are talking about not giving electronics till a certain age, making sure that it's all the hands-on and the talking and reading from an actual book and those kind of things. So so I think there are things that we can do. It was a good start to lock up their phones during school, but in reality I think they're going through withdrawal every day, because I think they get up at the end of the day and it's like, I haven't had this all day, because I am not going to lie to you, I'm addicted to my phone as well. I can waste 2 hours and go, where did that go? But my adult, already developed brain can put it away. I'm not sure that they can put it away. So I definitely think there's lots of things that we can do. I just don't know what the answer is yet, because I don't think we've done enough studies on how it's actually changed, how their thinking process is. But definitely we need to get to that, back to even the thought of, I need education. Because some of them have that, I don't need education, I'll just ask my phone what the answer is. So we need to make sure that we teach them how to discern whether it's truth or not, and then how to use AI responsibly in the way it should. Because I will tell you, I use ChatGPT to write tests. It takes 20 minutes that used to take me 2 hours to write a test from scratch. So there's benefit to that. but the amount of power that it takes behind it, you know, do we need it yet, or does everybody need it yet? So again, the study on the moratoriums of what we're doing, you know, having that moratorium to do some more study would be great on, you know, I don't know if everybody needs it right now, but I do know that my grammar may not be that great, and if I put in a memo and it comes back and it can still keep my voice, which is kind of scary, but it can help. So there's some advantages to that, but we haven't thought about, you know, who's seeing all that data and where's my data going and all that as well, and how do I keep my kids safe from the images that they can create without a lot of regulation on that right now.
One thing that you said about phone withdrawal.
Yeah.
We just worked on a house 2 blocks north, or 3 houses north of VHS. And I, of course, got there earlier than the kids got to school and stayed a little later. But during lunch hour, before school, kids would be in their cars scrolling with their heads down. I was wondering about their back and scoliosis from hunched over like that. But I agree that we should keep them out of school for not only their attention span, but also for bullying and all that garbage that comes with it. Is that enough? Does it need to go further?
It has to go further, right. And I don't know if that's legislative or educating parents, because I'm not, you know, I am not blaming parents to the fact that I would tell my kid, okay, I'm tired. I am really tired. You need to go find something to do. And I'm not saying that's all of this, obviously, but that's part of it, is that gave them something to do for a little bit. But I don't think any parent realized how addictive those phones are. And I think there was a lawsuit in California, if I remember correctly. I'd have to do a little more research on what it is that we think the tech industry knew it as well, and they were targeting.
We'll tell you, we got about 30, 45 seconds left. How can we participate in your race for the rest of the election cycle?
Contribute would be great and vote, but most importantly, talk to your neighbors, talk to your family, talk to your friends. I think I feel so much hope this time around on that we can have conversations. I'm tired of we can't talk about politics with our family. Yes, we can. We can have the fights. We can have whatever we need. If we don't have that dialogue, how do we come back together?
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate your time. Tracy Foss running for Superintendent in Public Instruction, and Vern Thompson running for Ag Secretary?
Ag Commissioner.
Ag Commissioner. Sorry about that.
No
We'll be
matter.
back after these commercial breaks.
We've all heard the phrase, that kind of thing doesn't happen in our town. But here on Midwest Murder True Crime Stories, we will shatter that false reality.
In fact, it happens more often than we know.
And sometimes the details are lost in the back pages of newspapers.
Forgotten on our news channels and eventually erased over time.
We're here to talk about murder, diving into some of the most controversial cases in Midwest history.
This show will not shy away from the morbid details of these horrific events and the often ugly truths behind them.
We are ladies of another view. Join us every weekday morning at 9:00 a.m. as we discuss the big topics from North Dakota, the nation, and around the world.
We chat with everyone from celebrities and medical professionals to politicians, local business owners, and neighbors about the topics and stories that affect all of us.
We are unscripted and uncensored real news from real people. So join us every weekday morning for Ladies of Another View on Beck.
We're not some big city operation with a call center that doesn't even know where North Dakota is. We're Beck, built and rooted in rural North Dakota. We're your neighbors, your cooperative, working together for more than 70 years to keep you connected to what matters most in your life. Our Beck Fiber is more than just internet service. It's what you rely on every day. And if you ever have a question, we're just down the road, ready to help. Beck Communications, committed to you because we're local too.
I'm Gary Emineth, host of Open Range. We've been at this for the past couple years. Representative Matt Heilman of Bismarck and former legislator Brandon Pritchard are going to do some regular segments
on Open Range. While we cover a lot of politics, we're still going to be continue doing mostly all things North Dakota. One exception, Friday evening, I'll be doing a new show on Open Range called On the Horn. This show will be long interviews of 3 to 5 hours with the people I'm interviewing. They'll be airing week after week on that Friday evening. So thank you for being a part of the Beck TV and Open Range family.
I'm a pretty calm, cool, and collective guy, but... Sorry, what's your name? Yeah, Evan. Hi, Evan. Yeah, we have no internet. Nothing. I don't know. It just stopped working.
The internet is down.
I know, I'm on the phone with them. No, that was my wife.
I can't get online again.
Yeah, I'm talking to Evan.
She's
No,
on
my
the-
daughter, my wife. Okay, can you guys not talk? Sorry. Yes, we have the white boxes. I see one. They got horns on them.
It's the one with
They
the
have
horns.
Yes, I see one. We have 11 of those.
I was on the phone and I got disconnected.
Okay, it's not about you. We switched our broadband service provider. Like Devin put in 11, Evan. How are we supposed to know which one's 7 and which
I thought it was Devin. Who's Devin? I got no service. Honey, you're blocking.
You can't stand there. You're blocking it. Don't block it. And the best part, I never have to speak to Evan or Devin ever again.
I think this one's 11.
11? We're not looking for 11. No, are we looking for 7, Evan, or 11? We have 2 next to each other. That's bad. 2 white boxes. Evan? Evan?
Well, welcome back to our final segment of Open Range. Of course, my name is Patrick Hart. I'm here with Vern Thompson, running for the Department of Agriculture, and Tracy Foss, running for DPI. Tracy, really quick, we kind of focused last section on you. We didn't, however, talk about your priorities once you do get elected this fall.
I have 6 main priorities, but they kind of all run together. It's really fixing the root causes, again, not the symptoms, and fully funding schools. We talked a little bit about that, but retaining and recruiting teachers. And it sounds like the problem, but it's really the symptom. We are spending way too much time trying to figure out how to replace them instead of asking them why they're leaving. So there are several reasons why they're leaving, and I don't think they're being addressed. We've got some data on that, and doesn't seem to be a lot being done on that right now, so I want to work on that. Universal meals, I do support that as well. It's we think that they have enough food, but if you haven't been in a cafeteria at a school, I've got kids eating Takis for lunch, and that I don't know what they are and I don't know what they taste like, but the kids like them, but they're not very nutritious, and some kids are trading popcorn for more food and so forth. So we do have some issues with that. And then supporting special education. That was on my priority list before what happened at the federal level, but now it's even more concerning to me. We've got special ed moving to Health and Human Services, where I don't know if they really are that concerned with the health of individuals with special needs. So I don't think that's the best place for it. Civil rights is going to the DOJ, and I'm not sure that they are that concerned about people's civil rights either. So the dismantling of Department of Ed at the federal level is going to affect us as well. So we need to keep the fight up for supporting the special education, getting enough paras, and that's, as a teacher, that's where I saw the most impact for my classroom, is not having enough paras in there to help with those students. And then rethinking accountability. We do have some scores that say whether we're proficient or not in reading and writing and those kind of things. And we're talking about going back to the basics. You hear a lot of that, but that has been, we have been talking about that forever and ever. So when is the point of going back to the basics not the answer? So coming from a tech and engineering world, it's like we need to apply the basics. So we can't just hyper-focus on reading and hyper-focus on math and hyper-focus on English, but we have to, how do we use that science? How do we use that math? How do we do that? And CT does a really good, plug to my CT background. CT does a really good job of applying those things. And I think once students can apply those things, then they see, oh, okay, it's not, I'm terrible at math. We use math every day. You're not terrible at math. We just gotta get you past looking at numbers and show you that you use it on a daily basis, and you'll use it in your careers and so forth. And rethinking that accountability also means that that test score that student got doesn't tell the whole potential of that student, and it doesn't tell how well that teacher taught that subject. There's so many variables in there. There's home variables. There's, did I eat breakfast? Did I have lunch variables? There's so many variables in there to look at test scores and think that's the only thing that we should be looking at to see whether our schools are doing what they're supposed to be doing or not.
No, follow up on that accountability piece. Something that's really caught my eyes as a father of 2 kids going through, elementary and middle and now high school, is the missing assignment list. What are your thoughts? That really bugs me, because for me, that paper was due on Friday.
Yep.
And if it wasn't, you got a 0. And now there's this seemingly nagging on our kids to get that assignment in. Do you think is that the accountability you're talking about?
The accountability I'm talking about is from DPI level of the accountability of, if you don't do well enough on these tests, then we're going to withhold something from you, which doesn't sound very supportive to me. It could be, we could look at that. I'm not saying we get rid of all the data. Obviously, we need to look at data. But what are we doing with that data, and how are we supporting that school? But to that point, I feel as a teacher, I see that, what's the point? What's the point of this paper? I see kids going, well, can I throw this away? It's like, no, don't throw it away. We're still learning about that. This was just a worksheet to see where you're at, help us learn. We need to connect those dots again, that it's not about homework. It's not about, you're doing that homework to learn something, and then this is why we need to learn something. And I think we've lost that a little bit in education when kids we're not explaining it, or they're not understanding it well enough to, we explain it, but we gotta, I don't know what we need to do, but we gotta figure out where's that disconnect, where it's just about doing homework and doing, well, I got my grade, and this is where I'm at, when it's really, it's about the learning and
has to be purpose-driven, right?
Yeah, yep.
So that, Vern, we got a couple minutes left. You had mentioned on our break a focus on mental health and suicide prevention.
Yeah, we held a mental health and suicide prevention meeting this last week in Fargo, and it was successful. We're gonna be doing that in other areas of the state, and I forgot about it, but when Tracy was talking about the stress that kids are going through and stuff, farmers are going through mental health stress. And I know we had 7 suicides, death by suicide for the first 5 months of the year. That's unacceptable. And we need to prepare for that. We need to talk about it. Just like in school, we need to talk about these things. That's not a fun topic to talk about, but we had faith leaders, legislators, farmers, farm groups, advocates for mental health and advocates for suicide prevention, all collaborating in a roundtable meeting, and we've got some workable solutions that are coming up and will be out there. But we're going to talk to people around the state about that, because it's tough out there. Honest to God, it's tough.
Well, and as a small business owner, I definitely math at night in my head at 2 in the morning, and I figure out how it all comes together, and then I have to do it again for some reason. And then I wake up the next morning and I don't remember any of it. But the reason I bring that up is because, we're not talking about $40,000, quarter sections of land anymore. The amount of money and the amount of stress that puts on a farmer is incredible.
Yeah. And this isn't a red team issue or a blue team issue. This is a people's lives issue. And I say this often, if someone is still breathing and having problems, we can get help for them if we choose to. I choose to do that. If they quit breathing, it's too late. And then what are we somebody's gonna say, well, why didn't you do something about that? We are gonna have, by fall, we're gonna have some farmers that are not farming anymore. That's reality, but we morally have to try and do what we can to keep the fabric, the farm tradition there in North Dakota.
I absolutely agree with you, and I'm sorry I see you getting choked up a little bit in your eyes, so thank you for focusing on that. Tracy, can I throw it back to you and give you a minute or a minute and a half? Why vote for Tracy Foss for DPI this cycle?
I think the main reason to focus or to vote for me is that my focus and my priorities are on everybody. So it's not, there's no hierarchy. We need to make sure that school is good for everybody. Those that work there, those that go there, those that we send our kids home to. But yeah, we need to, and I have the perspectives, I have a lot of perspectives that, again, don't have all the answers, but I definitely know the questions to ask and get the right people to the table so that we can work on the root causes of the issues. And for example, figure out how to keep those good teachers that are leaving. If you're thinking that they're leaving because they just couldn't hack it and they weren't good teachers, you're wrong. We are losing great teachers.
Well, I appreciate my Class B education, and thanks for standing up for us. Vern, can I give you the same opportunity to make a case on why vote Vern Thompson this fall?
Well, I'm asking for your vote. I don't care what your politics are. I don't care who you voted for in the past. The issues that we have in front of us are North Dakotan issues, and we have to do everything we can to make life better. I want to see the future generation be here in North Dakota with all the resources that we've got and make a difference and impact on people's lives.
Vern, I want to touch on this on your website here.
Oh.
Can I read it for you?
Yes, go ahead.
Farmers are paying more, earning less, and losing ground, literally. Can you expand on why you chose that for a tagline?
Well, when I was in the legislature, the first session, I was called the co-op kid.
Okay.
And everything that co-ops stand for, I believe in, still today. Whether it's a local elevator, whether it's the pasta growers in Carrington, all these things were cooperatives. And we need to hold near and dear those values that we've had as a heritage for the state of North Dakota, and we're losing that, and we can do better. I was listening to a song coming in here, Better Days Ahead. Well, we need to have better days ahead, and we need to have policies that will allow success on the family farms, on the rural communities. You and I are both Class B kids, and those schools are important. The community is important. We gotta start taking care of our neighbors, and that's one of the things I have a vision for, that get people back together, and we can have a great state that we can be proud of for generations to come.
Well, absolutely, and I'd like to thank everyone for watching today, and I'd also like just to ask, the people that I'm interviewing today, Tracy Foss, running for Department of Public Instruction, Vern Thompson, running for the Ag Department. I don't know why I'm fumbling on that. These people aren't extreme. These people aren't who you see Democrats being portrayed in as the media. And I'll just like to remind you, if you don't like the way that your government is functioning, you got to vote for someone new. I appreciate you guys being here today. Thanks for watching.
$27,000 in credit card debt.
You have to radically do something different, because if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting.
Ashley, North Dakota is where life moves a little slower, but never gets dull. From hunting, camping, and fishing to safe streets where kids can be kids, this is the best of small town living. And Ashley offers everything you need, from healthcare to hardware to countless ways to stay active. Here, we've invested in our future with major upgrades to roads, parks, and education. Whether you're here for the day or here for life, you'll find Ashley's where you ought to be.
Come on in and experience small town hospitality and the personalized care that makes car buying a pleasure.
We know that every journey starts with the right car. Whether it's school drop-off, weekend road trips, or your daily commute, we have the right vehicle for you and your family.
With trusted brands, affordable prices, and a team that treats you like family, finding your next car has never been so easy.
We pride ourselves on personal attention and quality service. Dakota'S Motors, where our customers send their friends.
Hey y'all, it's Trent on the loose. I want to tell you, Lady Blue and I, we got a lot of miles together, but you know what? You and I got a lot of miles together as well. And all I want to do is bring to you the information on how we maintain a domestic supply of food and fuel for future generations. So I'm going to continue to travel the world and unearth the stories that make it possible that we can live in a free United States of America.